Heather.
Hi, Dan.
In this bonus episode, I'm going to be talking to the executive manager of Madhouse, Marianne Savalampi, about the performance and artistic space in Kallio, and also Diana Soria Hernandez, a Mexican artist and performer whose production is currently running in the space. So we'll listen to that first.
Yes.
Madhouse is a house of live art and a community founded by artists from the independent art scene, now based in Surninen and founded back in 2014. The programme consists of live and performance art, process-based works, installations, clubs, parties, talks and workshops, and is a non-profit organisation. I'm talking to the Executive Director, Marianne Savalampi. Yeah, tell us a little bit about what Madhouse does.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear it like that too. But that's all that we kind of aspire to be, is this very diverse event space. And we try to focus on performance and live art. Basically, performing arts that is not strictly, or also goes outside the bounds of dance or theater or kind of music. So it's also this trying to have a space for art outside the gallery context. And it's black box space at the moment. The black box, in a way, also dictates what is possible in the space. Because of that, a lot of our program in this current space have been more bigger productions and more kind of in the theater or concert type events. But I think also what we've now had, also these performance nights have been very kind of accessible in also bringing people within performance art. And that's we also kind of want to do that. We don't want to be just having the local art goers or art visitors, but to try to have as a very easily accessible space.
Obviously, I'm going to talk to Diana about her show shortly, but what kind of shows have you had over the last sort of 6 months to a year?
It's been very, I'm using the word diverse again, but we try to have it as kind of true to us in a way so that we could have a recognizable idea of what you can expect when you come to see that it is professionally made art, but the content can be very different. Before this, we had that tyttörakkaus scene, this girl crush scene, which was about food and growing up as a girl. In the spring, we had pieces that dealt about also accessibility and neurodiversity, very different things.
Okay. And the latest show with Diana starts next week. How does your cooperation with Diana work?
It's been good that Diana came through us with the open call, but that was already in 2023. So it's been a bit of a process. So we also have tried different ways of how do we, that we do like self-curating, but also try to have open calls. And so when, after the open call, we kind of contact artists and start this process of production, of timetables. And also we do offer a small production fee, but then of course try to help as much as we can with if there are like material needs with it, as well as different marketing and audience work.
So what shows do you have coming up after Diana's show?
Well, Diana's is now our last of this year. So next time we're gonna have production is in February. And that will be interesting because then we're now in this process that we're currently merging with another organization, Reality Research Center. So this is kind of our part of trying to also rework the resources in this small field. So it will be, I think, exciting to also start our kind of collaborative program next year.
And how can people find out more about Madhouse? Is the best place to go to your website?
Yes, website has all the info, and also you can follow us on social media, Instagram and Facebook.
Diana Soria Hernandez is a Mexican visual artist focused on the exploration of physical and corporeal language, mainly through performance art, live installation and drawing. Having studied fine arts, printmaking, and live art and performance studies, her work has been shown internationally in exhibitions and festivals in more than 15 countries. Her latest performance, Ashes and Seeds, a commemorative performance, is a memorial to the disappearance of 43 Ayotzinapa students in Iguala, Mexico, 11 years ago. Hi, Diana. Tell us a little about the background of the performance at Madhouse, Ashes and Seeds.
Hello. Yeah, so in 2016, I did a performance that was called Ashes, which was related to the same event, or this enforced disappearance of these 43 students. I did it as part of my MA thesis in live art and performance studies, which I was doing at the time in the Theatre Academy in Helsinki. So before that, I had been working for 2 years in different kinds of performances, using performance art, exploring performance art as a tool. Like I was reading theory and so on. So I was kind of like exploring what can performance art do as an activist tool. I can say that many of my performances, I felt that they just didn't really reach people. And of course, the context, it's so different, it's so far away, that it was very, very frustrating. I don't remember at the time how many performances I did in like a 2-year span, but quite many. And in the end, I did this performance. That was my MA thesis, but the case still was like open. And we were still like, we as like civil society, like citizens, we kept pursuing the truth behind what had happened in this event. So now 11 years have passed. It's a performance that is now revising what happened, but through a different perspective. Like it's a commemoration, but not of that particular night, but more like what happened in the memory of people, what happens when people are very involved in something or are very outraged by something. And then what happens throughout 10 years of deceit, and then like, of course, more things pile up and pile up and pile up. And then when you look back, then you think like, oh God, where is this going? So yeah, the performance kind of deals with these questions of memory, of transformation. It asks, where does this anger go? Where does this energy go? And it also explores the distance of context, the travel. Like it's people that I'm asking people, like I'm making interviews of people that are living in Finland that have some relation to this event.
For anyone who's listening to this is actually the second recording of this we've done, so I'm trying to pick on some key points from the last time we did this interview. You mentioned that you had only been in Finland for a couple of years. This, in a way, was an opportunity for you to be involved in the Mexican community in Finland more, because you hadn't really discovered it at that stage.
Yeah, well, I was not looking for it either. I didn't have any need before for it. But when this happens, when you see a social movement taking place, that you feel connected to, you feel part of it, but you have like 11,000 kilometers like in between, then you also look around and you try to get together with the people that are there where you are, because you want to do something together, or you think, is there anybody else feeling like I am feeling? And yeah, there were many. And there were many groups in many different countries also, like throughout Europe. So actually later that evolved in what was called the Eurocaravanas. So it became like a bigger thing. But yeah, that's how it happened. Yeah.
This weekend, just after this podcast goes out, will be the second performance, but last weekend you had the first. How did it go? Did it go as expected? Were there some unexpected elements of it maybe that happened? Because it's not a scripted performance, is it?
I mean, it's not a rehearsed performance, but surprisingly, it really went as I planned it. So it's very satisfying to see what is in my head take place, like be real. But what is interesting for me, like what is surprising for me, is how people can read it now. Because, of course, I worked with all these performances 2014, 2015, 2016. I was working with this theme with Ajotzinapa and in Finland. And this frustration that I tell you, like, of not really getting through. And now I feel there's a different kind of interest also, and the relationship is different. Of course, also I have evolved artistically also very much in 10 years. I understood also many things, language based, like symbolically. Anyway, so yeah, I think this work for me, it shows different aspects, like from my art practice, but also how society has changed.
For anyone that's thinking about coming, what can they expect to see on Friday?
This is a hard one for me because I am this kind of artist that likes to be very secretive.
Yep, I understand.
Yeah. So I don't like to like throw all my secrets there or all my surprises. I like to keep some surprises. But I do think this is a performance where I have managed in a nice way for me to combine performance art and video, like interviews and research and ceramics, and like many of my art forms, also printmaking. I think it all comes together nicely.
That's great. Tickets for the show are available at madhousehelsinki.fi and are priced between 10 and 40 euros.
And there's few left.
There are some left. That's good to know. Okay, thank you. Okay, so what have you been up to since last time, Heather?
Okay, so I've been out and about. We went to Kaunissaari. I saw aurora on the night of the 18th. They weren't very strong. And I came out of the sauna and I said to my husband, that looks like aurora. And he's like, no. Oh, I think it is. And then I checked the aurora map and it said Nummela. There was lots of activity. And then I went back again. And this time I took my camera and I snapped a little happy snap. And sure enough, there was aurora. Again, not very strong. So it is possible to see aurora this far south. There's too much light, and so they're usually not very good.
So have we got a slightly crappy picture for socials?
I can share a slightly crappy picture for the socials. Yes. Our clocks changed, fell back 1 hour. We all got an extra hour's sleep on Saturday night. I actually know some people who suffer jet lag when the clocks change. It's not something that bothers me, but I know some people get very tired and grumpy when the clocks change. But the other thing I wanted to talk about, Kaunissaari, let's come back to that. It's one of the islands that is part of the city, and we will visit next year for sure. So the connection has finished for this year. If you have your own boat, you can get there, no problem. There's no running water, and the rubbish bins have been taken away. But what I really wanted to talk about was the amount of plastic rubbish that we found, and I have a very nice picture of the plastic rubbish that we found to share on the socials. It started with a soy sauce bottle, and then from there it went to, I found a shotgun casing, we found a safety helmet, we found a rubbish bin lid, and a pair of earmuffs, among other things. So lots of junk being thrown overboard, which is a bit distressing because it's been illegal for many years, but people still do it.
Was that all in the sea or on the island?
No, it was washed up on the shore. And that was the stuff we could carry with us. I felt a bit bad because it was stuff we left behind that was too big for us to carry. Yeah, all right.
So I've been to the Sinebrychoff Art Museum to see Spain Beyond the Myth.
And how were the whites?
You're picking up on something that happened before you disappeared on me.
I am, sorry.
I've always felt in the Sinebrychoff Art Museum the whites are whiter than white. That's what Heather's referring to. And again, they were. There's no artists I had heard of, but that doesn't mean to say the art wasn't good. There's a fascinating array of art from Spain and Spanish influence. So lots of artists who have travelled from France and beyond to Spain to paint landscapes and things like that. And that runs until the 11th of January. So that one's well worth checking out. Okay. And then the weekend just gone, I went to Finlandia-talo to see the Szeged Contemporary Dance Company's performance of Carmina Burana.
My mother-in-law went on Friday night and invited me along, but unfortunately I had other plans. How was it?
The dance was good, not perfect. My mother, who's an ex-professional dancer, loved it and said it was immaculate. I disagreed with that, but what do I know? But the music was not live, which
Oh,
pisses me off, considering how much the tickets were.
yeah.
And they had the sound set up for a rock band, so the basses were far too bassy. And
Okay.
the vocals were far too lost in the mix at times.
Oh,
And
that's
for an opera, that's not a good thing. The ballet or the company themselves did a great job, but I think the space was set up wrong for what they were doing.
Okay. Because I think Finlandia-talo I think of as a convention space rather than a performance space. I've only ever been to Finlandia-talo for like meetings and like
Well, I saw Robert Plant there back in May, if you remember.
I do remember.
And that was immense, but I don't think they'd changed the setup from rock band / folk band to classical.
Okay.
And of course, it's such a big piece of music that to have it pre-recorded was a bit rubbish anyway.
Yeah. Flu vaccines. If you are, I'm going to say, in a certain age bracket, and I'm a year off that age bracket, but I'm putting myself in that bracket. So 60 and over, now is the time to be getting your flu vaccine. I feel that young people don't need vaccines, but if you're heading towards 60s, which is the new 50s or the new 40s, I don't know. Now's the time to get your flu vaccine. And the other thing, you might have noticed I've been a bit excited about the jigsaws lately.
How are they going?
So the jigsaw that I completed and I glued is now just waiting for its frame. And once I have a frame, I might share a picture. And I have started my next one. And I read a quite fascinating article about the Jigsaw Puzzle World Champion. So it's a competition. And guess where this year's world champion comes from?
Oh, it's got to be Finland if you're that.
It's Finland, yes. So I don't know why I'm throwing my ears up.
It was going to be that or Tasmania, wasn't it? So
pretty much, yes. All right. So her name is Hanna Lehikoinen. She's actually only been doing competitive jigsaw playing, which is a thing, for a couple of years. Okay, so this is...
Competitive jigsawing is just a crazy term.
It is, but I get very excited when I get like one little part of my jigsaw complete. Her training was doing like 500 to 1,000 piece puzzles in the run up to the championship. So they were held in Spain. She did 136 500 piece puzzles in 6 weeks. I'm doing 1,000 piece, and it's probably going to take me, okay, granted, I do it when I'm at the Mökki, so not every weekend, but it's probably going to take me 12 months to get all the way to the end. All right, so if you are interested in some training techniques, all the pieces face up, so you can see the things, separate them into similar shapes, get the border pieces, build your border, and then start building sections. And the important thing with competitive jigsaw puzzle building is that if you can't find the piece you're looking for, move to the next bit and start building that, because she said eventually the other piece will pop up and you find it and put it in its place.
I have a different technique. You see, my mum's a big fan of do the outside first and work in. I work from the key point in the picture. So if there's like a car that takes up a big chunk of the picture, I'll do the car and work out from the car.
Okay, that's a good way to do it. Yeah.
Or like at the moment, because obviously my youngest is 4 years old, with Thomas the Tank Engine, I do the engines first and then put them together and build around the outside. So I'm on about 100 piece jigsaws at the moment, but only because of my son.
Yeah. No, that's good. There is so the Finnish is Palapeli Urheiluliitto, which literally translates as like the Jigsaw Sport Foundation. They have 200 members. They've only been up and running for 2 years, but this Finnish Championships has been running for a few years, because the shop where I bought the glue was opened up by a former Finnish champion, I think. I've got to double check my fact on that, but she was a very passionate player, and so she opened a jigsaw shop. So when we visit Malmi, we are, like I said before, we are definitely going to visit her.
See how many people we can drive away by talking about jigsaws every episode.
Oh, that must be all right. So in the comments, let us know how you feel about jigsaws, because it's a quite nice switch off. My mind just goes off into nowhere land, and it goes into all different sorts of places. But it's a nice. You're just looking at the pieces and working out. Okay, and I need a bit that's got one hole and one knob, and yeah, you know the bit. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I don't have anything else to add.
on Friday, I'm going to go off to see Ashes and Seeds, which is the Madhouse performance that the interview covered earlier. So I'll be doing a review of that in our next bonus episode.
Very good.
And our next episode was in Pukinmäki.
Pukinmäki, yes.
So it's a bit shorter.
But we do have an interview in that one.
We do, and we did enjoy having a wander around Pukinmäki. It wasn't such a bad place.
Yeah.
And also, before this went out, I had a chat with Rowan Brown, who works for Ule on the All Points North podcast.
Yeah.
So we will be releasing that probably sometime in December, that interview. So that's one to look forward to as well. In that case, we will be back next week with a regular episode. Thanks, Heather.
We will. Thanks, Dan.